All right, welcome to the 2021 spring season for Oath League. I am super excited to be here today. Thank you for tuning in and watching. If you are not familiar with what we're doing here, we are a youth-focused esports league that is currently playing the game of Overwatch, made by Blizzard and Activision. This game is a 6-on-6 team-based game where team play is super important, and the overall game is just great for getting started with esports. Fun game, fun to watch, and most of all, it's the game I like to play. Kaylor, how do you feel about the 2021 season that's coming on? What's your opinions?
Man, I'm really looking forward to it. Got some new players in, some returning players from the kind of the preseason and kind of our inaugural season. Really excited to see how everybody plays together. I know I've dipped into a couple practices, been able to see the kids really working together, working on communication, and honestly seeing some pretty high level abilities, some high level play coming from these kids. You really getting into the nitty gritty of what competitive Overwatch is all about. So I'm really excited to get this season underway. These first match, first week, I'm excited to see where we get to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. If you didn't into the preseason or even further than back, our fall season, you missed a lot of great action, a lot of fun things happening, big plays by a lot of the teams. We had a little bit of a preseason where all the players that are currently in the league and the kids that are signing up in that preseason get placed onto a random team, and then those teams competed against each other. For the prize was a highlight reel from their season that was put together by our production director himself, Epicository, the man in the back that's pushing buttons. And so that was really exciting. You can see those on our social media. Find our social media at oathleague.com. My name is Patrick Refresh McClung. I'm the director here at Oath League, and I didn't even get to introduce you, Dane. I'm sorry. This is the man, the myth, the esports legend himself, Dane Kaylor. Dane, tell me something that's great about you other than what I already know.
Yeah, I've been kind of involved loosely around esports for a long time. Started playing CS when it was a lowly Half-Life mod in a beta. Back when esports was basically, five of your friends getting together, playing for some sodas, maybe playing for some extra time at the LAN center, and being yelled at by mom to get off the video game. So I'm really excited to be part of this, be helping out with you and everybody else that's gotten on board with this, and really using it at esports as a vehicle to kind of propel the kids into something for their future. I think it's a great way to package up learning tangible skills in a format like esports is wonderful. It scratch that competitive itch. You learn some skills. You learn to communicate with new people, and you get to play video games doing it. We get to cast video games. I mean, it's a great time to do it. Esports, Overwatch, Oath, new season, and I noticed it's a returning team Havoc versus our new team Ember. So right off the bat, we're going the OGs versus the new hotness. So I'm curious to see how we're gonna go
The new
right now.
hotness. Yeah, and so if you didn't know, what we did is each player from last year that continued into this season, we rearranged their teams and they got put on different teams. So even though Havoc is a team that also played last season, there are some players that stayed on Havoc, but there's also some new players that have switched around. And if you are familiar with our other seasons, the team first team, which was our first ever program for Oath Esports, we actually retired that team since it was the first. um, we're not going to use that name anymore. It's going to kind of be held in as the icon that it is. And each one of these teams, what's great about it is we've got some new coaches on board. All our coaches are have participated in the Oklahoma State University varsity program, and then have worked with these kids to be positive role models, as well as teach them how to be great players themselves. And that's really fun to see the growth, not only of the players, but also the coaches as they're working with the players, and seeing the little, when you teach somebody how to do something, it helps you learn even better the ways to do things yourself. And so to see the kids as players in Oakley grow, and then also see the coaches as mentors and players themselves grow, that's what Oakley is about. And I think we're jumping right into the match. Epicository's gotten us in here. This is going to be Ember on the red on the red side, and then Havoc's going to be purple. And we're jumping right in. So I'm ready to get this started. Dane, what do you think? Who's your pick?
Man, it's really hard to pick a team. We've got some good carryovers on both teams. We have some players from last season really turn up last season. Sleepy Tiger over there on Havoc looking for her diva play. War Bunny now on the DPS. Again, another first team member, and a couple new players on Ember. And I know in the team chat and some of the back and forth, the new players have kind of made themselves at home, on their respective teams. So it's going to be hard. I'm really looking forward to the new players to see kind of where they're at in relation to the kids and the players that have had a little more time in the kind of competitive environment. So I'm really curious to see how they go here as we're 5 seconds from launch.
Yeah, and Dylan, the MVP from the fall season on Tank on Havoc. So should be a good match. I'm excited to see these two teams play.
Yeah, Dylan going to come out on
Go
the
ahead.
ball. Dylan going to come out on the ball right off the bat. We've seen him create quite the headache for other teams with that ball with such high mobilities. We're going to do a mid fight here to open up fight number 1 of the new season. Oh, a big shatter, a big pile drive right off the bat, getting some value there.
But it seems like Ember's got kind of more of a brawly comp compared to the much more mobile comp there of Havoc. Sleepy on the Divas getting D-Mac there by the hook. By Focus, who is one of our newest players. He's actually out of California, so not all our players are in Oklahoma anymore. We've got we've got players from different states, and Focus is one of those, getting that point right away for Team Ember.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to fight now back to the point, as Ember now going to move on to the point. Dylan was doing a very good job getting some capture progress to try to turn this point over for his team, but Ember now going to collapse onto the point in style and try to bully Havoc now off this point. And we're still, contested here. We haven't had capture as we get closer and closer, as now Ember finally taking point control.
Yeah, I'm not for sure why that was taking so long. I guess Havoc was just trickling in enough to be able to keep it from turning over. But it looks like this is definitely going to go to Ember, even though Havoc is continually trickling in there. Exotic on the Reaper, trying to get some value.
Yeah, and the trickle in tactic may work. You know, they're just staying alive long enough. Warbunny and Exotic doing a good job, probably communicating there with each other. You know, trading off. I have touch. I'm gonna go in. I'm low. You know, get me out. And that gave enough time for Dylan to come in and really use his ball mechanics to get in, knock people around, get them kind of uncomfortable. And Havoc now going to turn the point and march on here to Ember's 22%.
Yeah, Dylan's already got his ult, drops it right onto the clump of.
And Exotic now going to find two, you know, Warbunny finding one, so a sound, you know, maybe a strong investment of ults by Havoc. You know, I saw the pulse bomb go off as Dylan takes a vacation now down to the beach. But, you know, maybe a little strong. You see Carp with the support ult, the Moira with the Coalescence, and Ember coming online almost with 6 ults now as Rascal and Cookie Boss looking to round out the full plate of ults as they're going to come in from the high ground here and look to make something happen with their ult bank.
Yeah, Cookie Boss is one of our new players too, and she's actually, I think, the youngest player in our league at the moment. So, you know, excited to see the
Focus
age range.
looking for the Shatter getting counterpinned by Dylan, and it looks like Dylan opted to drop off the map for that quick switch to Rhine. You know, maybe found some value there against Focus, but Ember gonna take that team fight with very little ult invested, as Panther has his whole hog. Lemonade now still has her Deadeye with McCree, and Rascal, as we like to know, has the that Reaper ult, that Death Blossom, which can be a game changer if you find it sneaky. Is Sleepy Tiger gonna lob in her diva bomb to try to find a little bit of value here, as Ember's gonna set up on the point.
Yeah, you missed the Lemonade and Warbunny duel in the back there, with Lemonade taking out Warbunny on Tracer. But you see Carp with the big push there. And
yeah, Carp gonna use that from the back to try to propel her team forward and keep them up. But Panther doing a good job. Oh, and Exotic says no thank you to that Death Blossom, but not before Rascal gets Dylan on the Reinhardt. And Rascal gonna stay alive even after being flashed out of that by Exotic, out of his Death Blossom. Is Ember going through 65% now, taking the advantage, and still with 2 ults online is Havoc now gonna end up coming into this fight. Dylan gonna have Shatter, Warbunny with the Pulse Bomb, and Ghost Dragon's gonna have Beat with the Lucio. Another very good attacking ultimate, which I know I like to see, kind of using those support ults as an attacking kind of hinge pin for your team instead of a reaction to stay alive. As here we go, the support ults now.
Oh, Lemonade was able to take out Ghost Dragon before he could ult using Deadeye.
And Lemonade, the DPS, absolutely, the DPS from Ember staying strong. Lemonade there with another one on Sleepy Tiger. They're gonna look to control this point, and that's gonna do it. So a pretty good hold from Ember. What were your thoughts kind of on those back and forth team fights?
Man, it was really, you know, Dylan has always been kind of a ball main. He switched over to the Reinhardt, and right there at the end, he charged off the map, took Cookie with him. But, you know, for Havoc to lose that shield right there at that last moment, even at the sake of taking out one of the supports, you know, she had already used the rally, and, you know, that was, I think, more of a detriment to Havoc. Let's look at some of these stats here. Dylan with a lot of damage there, 4,000 damage. He leads with that, but the DPS from Lemonade and then the healing from Silver is look what Ember needed to be able to beat Havoc on that point there.
Yeah, both teams doing a really good job. I know Dylan initially on that ball had a couple really nice opening pile drives that was good for 4 or 5 you know, hits at once, and doing a great job building that ult. You know, he got the ball ultimate, the minefield there, but ultimately opting to switch back. Is Havoc now gonna go direct to the point? Exotic over to the Echo, looking to maybe bring some damage from above, as maybe didn't feel too much pressure, as Ember opting to fight from the inside there.
Dylan stick with the Reinhardt, but, you know, Ember's doing a great job of clumping up together. And Lemonade trying to take out Exotic there on the Echo, but he's just up in the air like Mary Lou Retton.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Havoc doing a good job kind of controlling the space here. Ember opting to kind of try to secure it. Looks like eliminations off the point, but Havoc doing a great job with their team positioning, you know, kind of almost baiting Ember to come off the point to get the eliminations, but they're going to give up the point. They'll turn it back, but, you know, not bad losing a team fight, still getting, you know, 8%, as you can kind of re-engage here and get a little bit more ult charge as you prolong those fights.
Well, it's fun to watch Silver and Exotic. That little one-on-one that was happening there. Exotic bugged out. They're both team players for the Crescent Overwatch team. So to see them going against each other is fun as well. And Carp is one of the players from Crescent.
Yeah, Focus a great job with his shield use there, blocking that Dylan Reinhardt shatter. As
Huge!
As Exotics mimic, they're gonna shatter each other. There's Reinhardts everywhere, hammers everywhere. I think that's gonna do it. When you got 2 Reinhardts and 2 shatters, it's kind of a hard team to fight against. Is Havoc gonna end up taking that point now to turn it back in their favor?
I've never seen that happen. 2 just giant shatters at the same time, and the entire, every hero on the field fell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I bet on both those team comms you're gonna hear it's huge, but nobody can do anything since they're all laying on the ground. Is Havoc now gonna push out to try to force Ember back and take this fight right to him? As we're gonna see the Silver window and the Panther whole hog, but a great grab from Sleepy to combo at War Bunny. Some outstanding team play there. The grab into the Death Blossom with a team kill. I think War Bunny may have gotten all 6. I didn't hear Athena, but outstanding. That's kind of the bread and butter Overwatch play right there.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. Unfortunately for Ember, they just didn't have anything to fix that with. But Havoc did use, was it 2 or 3? Oh, they used 3 ults because Carp used her Valk as well. So Ember coming back in with an ult advantage here. Let's see if they can take care of Dylan being way out of position there.
Yeah,
if they can capitalize on it.
Yeah, we'll see if Ember can come back. They're gonna definitely have the ult advantage, but Exotic finding 2 now with the sticky bombs as Dylan finds Lemonade with the Fire Strike. So a great team fight win there, just kind of out mechanicking Ember. Havoc doing a great job finding the kills. This Carp's gonna go ahead and use that revive on War Bunny to get her team back to full strength. So a great job from Havoc, just kind of weathering the storm. But we'll see Ember now probably sensing it's getting a little tighter.
There's Dylan. Let's see if Dylan's gonna go for his famous plays.
From the top rope, we'll see how. Oh, the hook from Panther.
Hooked by Panther. New player
outstanding
from
hook from Panther to catch him out, but Havoc gonna hold the line.
Unfortunate there.
Yeah, unfortunate. Maybe a little mini C9, and that's the difference, right? You get a little focused. You get a little focused right on the eliminations and forget as that sound cue starts to change as time gets closer, and we can go back in the stats again. Dylan, 8,300 damage. And War Bunny and Exotic.
The numbers there are really speaking to what's happening there. It seems like Havoc was really able to shut down that DPS duo of Lemonade and Rascal. Rascal's only doing 4,000 of damage, which is even less than Panther on the tank. So, they're shutting him down pretty easily, it seemed like, and we'll see how they take it to this next round, see who gets the map or gets the round point.
Yeah, absolutely. One apiece. What a great way to start our opening map here on Ilios. One apiece, gonna go the distance for this map number 1 of the best of 3. As Havoc again first to point with that Ghost Dragon, that Lucio speed boost, and Panther looking for an early pick, but they're gonna rotate all the way around, ring around the Rosies. We're gonna go straight into a Rhine team fight here, as both Dylan and Silver gonna end up back in their respawn area.
And Ember's choosing the same comp every time. I wonder why their coach decided to just have him stay the same comp. It's an interesting choice, and hopefully it works out for him. But it seems like Exotic and now Dylan back on point against Tank. Let's see, Tank versus Tank.
Yeah, well, we'll see. This is Silver throwing the long distance lamp to try to keep Panther alive. He may keep him alive. I thought we might see something like we saw in that first point where Ember kind of took the fight, but Havoc doing a great job trickling back in. This point still hasn't been captured. As I say that, Havoc gonna prove me wrong. The reverse caster curse now is Ember, though, at full strength, taking this fight right up to the top. His focus goes deep onto Sleepy Tiger.
Yeah, he paid for it.
Yeah, Panther finding Sleepy with the ult. Yeah, Silver using the window, trying to find a little value for his, that amplification matrix, amping that healing, amping that damage. As Ember might have this one there, as they're gonna find that last kill on the Ghost Dragon and get some percentage going in their favor.
Yeah, let's see if they get aggressive. It does look like they're gonna go aggressive and move up to that that first choke and try to hold Havoc back.
Yeah, Silver
Using
doing a great job
good
finding
corners
some
there.
high ground off angles, being able to rain down those healing grenades from his Baptiste there. And
Oh,
again,
right into the wall.
yeah, Focus doing a great job. He blocks the shatter and then finds 3. Opts to charge there, kind of bops 2 of those shatter targets out of the way, but Ember taking this all the way in, really kind of putting their foot down here, finding eliminations of this team fight.
Eliminated with the shot on Carp, and then Silver to take out Exotic and force that restart on Havoc. So it really looks like Ember's kind of getting their feet back underneath them after that map loss on the other one. I feel like they're saying, you know what, we're not going to do that again. Let's go ahead and just push this up.
Yeah, Exotic now, he swapped over to the Genji. He was finding a little bit of value on the Widowmaker, but Ember doing a great job controlling the space as Panther. A big hook to try to catch Dylan out there, as we're going to now see the Exotic Blade, but Sleepy. A big 5-man grab, but just not a lot of follow-up as her team kind of rotated to the point there. You would have liked to see a combo even with the Genji now as more ults coming in with Rascal, Death Blossom finding Dylan.
And it looks like Havoc's going to turn it, because Ember wasn't really paying attention, and unfortunately Rascal didn't get a whole lot of value out of that. He kind of dropped the ult on his own team, it kind of seemed like, but and then we had that ult from Exotic coming out, and Lemonade was able to use
her rally here is, maybe the tail end of it. She probably would have liked to save that here as Havoc's coming full strength with the Ghost Dragon. Lucio beat now, and Ember not having any support ults to kind of defend against this. Panther trying his best, finding 2, but War Bunny gonna spin to win, finding 3 and
big.
The BAP lamp, but Focus.
Can they turn this? There's support and tank. He's got to start swinging that hammer on that Tracer. She's got to stun the Tracer. There we go.
Yeah, great job trying to swing there with Cookie Boss on the Brigitte, keeping that healing over time going every time she makes contact with that flail. And Dylan again, finding 1, finds the Brig. I think Havoc's going to get...
from Havoc is just so fantastic.
But Focus doing a great job with his, being able to move around. That may be it, I'm not sure. Yeah, great job. Ember taking map 1. A pretty good map 1. What do you think, Refresh?
Yeah, I think that was a lot of fun to see. These teams had scrimmed last week, and I'm excited to see what they learned from each other and learned from scrimming in that match. And I can see where each player is trying to counter and come up with the different plays. What I'm really impressed with, Kaylor, was how Havoc was able to trickle in, which is typically a bad thing to do, but they were able to use it in a way that flipped the point still. There was a couple of times when it was like 2 or 3 Ember players on there, and Havoc would just trickle in and finish it. I've never really seen that happen. So shout out to Havoc and their coaches over there. But then, thankfully Ember won, not thankfully, sorry. But Ember won the point. And, it just goes to show that one team has to win no matter how great the plays are for either side. But that's the big takeaway, is this is going to be a great season of Overwatch, man. These teams are both really, really equal. And we're doing best of 3 just for the sake of time. We'll be jumping to the next match at 8. So we're going to go ahead and jump into another map here. So that first map went to Ember. So that means we can have 2 more maps depending on if Havoc wins the next map. If Ember wins the next map, then it's end of this match. But you never know where it's going to go. It could be Havoc going the next 2 or Ember taking the next one. You just never know, especially as close as these teams are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like they're going to go Havoc opting to go to Havana. So we'll see maybe what kind of top secret sauce both teams have been working on as we're going to see how these maps, these escort maps, lots of high ground on Havana, lots of cheeky off angles, high ground, low ground. You can hide your hit scan. If you want to be more brawly, you can hide on the low ground. I'm really curious to see how these teams play a more traditional attack versus defend map. So we'll see as both teams ready up now in the lobby. Really interested to see, that was... Oh, go ahead.
That one of the other things that I think is really cool is, Sleepy Tiger on Havoc has been one of the most consistent improving players throughout the league, from when we had our summer program to our fall program to now. I mean, just her play from where she had never played before. Coach Dane and I were her old coach, and I remember her getting ejected out of Diva and just standing still and shooting, not even moving, to seeing the play that she's got now. And there's so many new players that had never even played Overwatch before that are putting down some serious numbers. Focus and Cookie Boss are both brand new to Overwatch, and so to see them playing, gets me excited. I can't even have words about what to expect on Havana right now.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, people kind of getting a taste of esports and getting used to playing in a little more competitive. It's so much more than just playing video games in the traditional sense. You're working with 5 other players to achieve a goal. You've got to have good communication. You've got to figure out how to problem solve together, how to give a little, take a little. Maybe your idea isn't the best idea, and that's part of, that's part of winning. That's part of achieving a team goal. As we go 20 seconds now, and again, you kind of hit on it last time. Ember, the same kind of comp. The Rhine Hog with Lemonade, again on the McCree, Rascal back opting for the Reaper, Cookie Boss on the Brig, and Silver on the BAP. As we're going to see the
War Bunny
Zarya
bringing
Hog.
out the Torb, though.
Yeah, War Bunny, we've seen him. We saw War Bunny there with the Torb before, and I think he had a few turret, map MVPs, but I'm curious to see what he does. Torbjorn brings a lot of value to defense. It's an extra little bit of DPS on an off angle that you have to deal with.
Good play by Ember here, just kind of LOSing. They knew Exotic would be on that Widow, and so they just, hid the whole way down instead of walking right down the middle. Unfortunately, Cookie Boss is taken out by Ghost Dragon.
Yeah, Sleepy again, as we kind of talked her up, finding 2 with that Zarya beam, getting some decent charge with some great bubble management. Not using it too soon, really making sure she gets valuable charge when she invests those cooldowns. And Havoc, a great first hold here on this cart, but an interesting. I noticed here, Ember tried to take that team fight early and got no cart progression.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that's okay. I mean, at the lower ELOs of Overwatch, everybody is so fixated on the cart that they miss a lot of big pushes and a big play because they just want to stand on the cart, and they give up that space.
Yeah, War Bunny finding some big value already, building that Molten Core, firing it into that choke, even though getting flashed out. Again here as Panther and Focus look to push forward. Again, the cart, though, for Ember, making no progress as they push. And again, I think you're right. Pushing them back, if you can get Havoc uncomfortable and force them to reset off the high ground, maybe you push with 3 and get the cart far enough away that they can't set back up. But looking here, Havoc looking to just retake this high ground now as the cart's going to be right in front of them.
They were able to take out Focus. That's unfortunate because that, sets a 5 on 6 battle right off the bat. But there was nowhere for him to really go, I guess.
Yeah, Lemonade's
teleporting up to try to take out using his ult to take out the turret, cart, and Exotic. Was it enough? It still looks like it's just Focus and Rascal on the point.
Yeah, Focus
Silver coming back into heal,
shielding his team as they're going to try to push forward. Focus now taking some little bit of damage there. You can see on the shield as he charges in, kind of misses that charge, but a decent position, using that shield to push Havoc back as they have to respect that.
Oh, big hook on Rascal.
But yeah, Dylan finding the Wombo combo with Hog there, finding Rascal with a great off-angle hook. Well, Lemonade found cart, but not before Dylan said, well, why don't you trade out for that? We'll send you back to the respawn. As Dylan going to look to push again. Is Ember kind of over-rotating here has been the theme so far for these first couple of minutes now, as they push well beyond and around the cart trying to secure these kills.
Well, it's good play there by Cookie Boss going and picking back up the point. I don't think they necessarily wanted to rotate that way. It just so happened that was what went down because of that ult from Hog. Lemonade gets taken out 3-on-1 there. And Panther trying to take Dylan out, but unfortunately gets taken out before Silver can fully heal him.
And Ember still with those again. Dylan with another whole hog, just farming ult charge there, pushing people back. We're under
on that stun.
Yeah, under Silver. A minute left. So Silver finding that BAP utility. That DPS from Baptiste, that damage has to be respected.
Yeah, I mean, War Bunny's tour, I'm just thoroughly impressed. I didn't see a hammer on Silver, but he's been getting a lot of great utility out of that, a lot of great movement.
Here's Cookie Boss looking to use that speed boost and the rally and the armor to try to propel her team forward, try to find that little difference. His focus, unfortunately, blocked out by the cart, but Panther now answering with his own whole hog, looking to push Havoc back. And again, Dylan, another great hook, finding Silver with the combo. As Sleepy's going to use that grab on cart to lock up Ember.
Yeah, Ember, don't get off the point. You guys are going to see 9. And Havoc's doing their trickle play. Let's see if they can. And they're picking it up. Carp gets the
Carp
ult,
gets
leaves
that res,
Panther.
and that's Havoc's gonna clean up.
I don't understand it, but somehow they make it work.
Hey, yeah, if it works, you can't fault them. Havoc doing a great job rotating around. Maybe a little bit of free real estate given up by Ember. Kind of over rotating a couple times, but doing a good job. They secured some kills, and I think some of those team fights let them push the cart as far as they did. I can't help but to wonder maybe if the cart would have gone further if they would have opted to fight on the cart. But as we look at stats here, War Bunny, 6,000 damage on his Torbjorn there.
Wow.
Doing good, finding value.
Wow. 18 limbs. I mean, good for War Bunny. And, look again, they were able to consistently shut down Lemonade and Rascal. And to me, this is where if I was the coach for Ember, I would be calling for a switch up of a comp. But it looks like they're going to go with the same comp again. And to me, that just allows the other team to know exactly what to expect and know exactly how to play against it. And you can see that represented here in the numbers by them consistently shutting down Lemonade and Rascal.
Yeah, Ember, doing their best to try to find the value in the comp that they have. I think there's something to be said about playing your comfort picks, but maybe pick out of your comfort zone to find something a little more valuable. As you look at Ghost Dragon and Carp, hardly having to really do any healing with only 5,000 split between them, healing for their teams, as Havoc now going to look to push that cart just a little bit further. And we see already off the bat, Havoc driving the cart, 2 and 3 at a time is, 3 players around the cart's the maximum speed. If having anybody else extra, in case somebody falls is nice. It gives you a little bit of healing as you're around the cart trying to push it. So we'll see here, Havoc already almost halfway to the point that they need for victory.
War Bunny just being so annoying in the back there.
Yeah, forcing Ember to look both directions as you got to find that tracer, deal with the tracer, and then look back to the forward to where the main is. And you hope to see Panther here maybe get a lucky hook, maybe a prediction. Cookie Boss certainly could shield bash and stun that tracer out and then get some follow-up as Havoc's going to dive right onto the cart.
Yeah, or Lemonade as well. And that's, wow.
Yeah, Exotic finding the headshot on Cookie Boss, finding Lemonade, dealing with the fire strike. And this is where we'll see, right? So they push the cart through that team fight now. And the spawns here on Havana are so far away for defense that this cart may go all the way before Ember can even get back to the point.
Yeah, I mean, the way Ember plays all balled up, and then with that right there,
and Dylan,
this is done.
Icing on the cake, gonna do the big corner shatter where we saw on the preseason, I think we saw a big shatter there by Focus around that corner, but Havoc handedly, yeah, I mean, very strong showing by Havoc and a great job by them. As we see here, the play of the game,
just to lock it all down.
Yeah, breaks the hook, gets the bubble protection, and lines them up. And a great fire strike, catching 5
bunch of big kills there at the end. Yeah, I mean, it was back and forth. It's really interesting to see how the different teams play, and this Havoc trickle thing just blows my mind, man. Especially on Havana, when your spawn is so far away, but they were able to just 1 and 1 and 1, and Ember would win the point, but there was only 2 or 3 on them left, and then they just kind of were like scattered, like, hey guys, we need the team together. And then that allowed the individual mechanic skills of Havoc to come in, pick those 2 players off, and then seal the point. I think we should officially call that the Havoc trickle. I think we need to
Yeah.
put that in the notes
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think they
Uh,
can have they can have their Havoc trickle, and the way that they did it is, a lot of times I think you see in competitive ladder and certainly quick play and some other, less organized, the trickle is oftentimes a disjointed, last ditch effort where I'm going to get in, I'm going to save it. But all times we've been seeing this, the Havoc team seems very organized around that kind of trickle defense.
it-
War Bunny will dive in on the tracer, take a little bit of damage, but stall long enough for his team to catch up, and then they rotate out, and then they rotate
yeah.
out, and soon enough, all of a sudden now there's 6 Havoc and they're all at full health, and now you're in the middle of a team fight, and Ember's starting to feel worn down and
Hmm.
maybe a little defeated. It's hard to see when it feels like you're winning, but you're not winning. You're getting the kills, you feel like you're doing what you need to do, and the team's just not going away.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Havoc,
That's a good way to put it. Havoc
yeah,
just didn't go
Havoc,
away.
yeah, Havoc just a stalwart on defense. So a great job to Havoc. You're using that high ground, taking those fights, and credit to Ember. They tried some cheeky off angles. That low push on the outside protects you from
Hmm.
that upper damage, and
Well, and it forced Exotic to switch off of Widow.
right.
Which that's exactly what they wanted. Widow was or Exotic on Widow was able to pick off the DPS and get the point and then get what they needed to be able to take out the rest of the team. Whereas if they can keep him from doing what he needs to do and focusing on that, then the team as a whole could go in. And so that was a great play by Ember, but you could see how it was so needed because on the next point when it was Ember on defense and Havoc on attack, Exotic just went up into that window and was just clicking heads. And that, like with what you said, War Bunny in the background just being annoying, forcing him to turn around, focus his shield going back and forth, and not protecting the DPS as needed. I mean, it wasn't Focus's fault. He was trying to do what he had to do. Just allowed, is enabling Havoc to work their magic and do that. But the thing is like there's still another match. This is
Yeah.
anybody's game right now. This the first game ever for 2021 could go either way right now. I mean, both teams are doing really well. Both plays are really well. Both teams are enabling each other. Um, and I don't know. I don't want to cast or curse anybody. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to ask you who you think is going to go next. I'll just let you talk about the next map, Dane.
Yeah, so we're gonna go King's Row. If you're familiar with competitive Overwatch, we like to call it Scrim Row. It's hugely balanced. It gives you a little bit of opportunity to snowball if you can get that momentum. It's got some choke points. It's got some high ground. It's also a hybrid map. So we're gonna look at this first point as a mini King of the Hill, where the teams are gonna fight on attack and defense. The defense is gonna try to hold that first point. Offense, the attacking team is going to try to capture that first point. If they're successful, it'll unlock that first point. The garage will open, and then the escort portion of the map continues. And then
Yeah, so
they'll, yeah,
let's jump over and take a look at the map as we're talking about it here. Epi, if you
yeah,
wouldn't mind jumping to your cam, and we're going to King's Row, Scrim Row.
yeah, absolutely. So the you got the spawn doors for that attacking team as Ember's getting ready, trying to find their comp. Is they're going to look to come past this bus, maybe go into the high ground and go around to try to avoid a lot of incoming damage. But Havoc, lots of room to hold. We see a lot of teams hold around the statue. It's a really nice way to kind of distance yourself from the enemy team, but still provide some lanes and some areas to retreat. As this first point's kind of back here in this corner, kind of bracketed between this little hotel area, the car, and the phone booth back there. And we're gonna try to see here what these comps are gonna be as Ember gonna try to lead us off here on attack. What do you think from a hybrid perspective? You kind of get the best of both worlds. You get escort, you get a kind of a capture point attack. So what are you looking to see from Ember as it looks like they're going again, their comfort pick?
Nope, I'm not going to do it. You're trying to get me to say something that's gonna injure one of the teams, and I just refuse to participate in the caster's curse. Kaylor, that's you're trying to be tricky, and I'm not gonna fall for it this time.
That's fair. That's fair. But we'll see. It's this map is really well balanced. There's a reason teams like to come to this map, and it's in everybody's repertoires. We're 5 seconds from this opening fight with Ember coming out the main gate.
Yeah, it looks like Ember's going to run the same comp they've been running. And we see the same comp that Havoc was running on the last match, but with Exotic on McCree and War Bunny still staying on the tour.
Yeah, War Bunny got the turret's in a good spot. It gets taken away quickly as Rascal finding that with those new buffed / nerfed Reaper shotguns. As Exotic though, the McCree duel end up getting that lucky left click on Lemonade to put Ember down 1 DPS. But Silver farming windows
Already
like they're going out of style. And that's a lot of respect to give, but Ember unfortunately going to be pushed back away from it as Dylan also already the Rhine shatter with Exotic and now there's McCree Deadeye online. So a great job, Havoc, building alts incredibly fast.
Oh yeah, Focus jumping in kind of all by himself there instead of waiting as a team. Ember needs to really group back up if they're going to have any type of chance of taking out Havoc on this first point. They've got to have those tanks in the front line. And here's that cheeky Dylan play. You know, he's always going for the bamboozle.
Yeah, Dylan looking there.
If he lands it, or if Focus is going to block it.
If Ember looks to speed through and doesn't check corners, Dylan here is going to get a free one.
Yeah.
There it is.
He gets
there it is.
Oh,
finds Lemonade. Almost everybody. But again, Dylan's going to find...
back, takes him out. They're still up.
Too. Ember doing a good job of War Bunny on the turret. War Bunny with the hammer. War Bunny with his left click, finding everybody. Is he going to invest that Molten Core to secure that team fight? And again, you know, Havoc doing a great job showing some restraint. You know, Dylan catches a big shatter, and then War Bunny just follows it up with the Molten Core, and Havoc mops up the kills to reset Ember.
Yeah, they were able to take the turret out from the spawn. Lemonade on McCree shot War Bunny's turret out of the way, and look at him rotating now to kind of keep that out of the way. Rascal's going to jump over there, trying to take out the...
Yeah, finding a little bit of different angle here, and now as we see Ember as close as they've been with Silver, gonna use that with Dylan. Dylan coming out of nowhere, but Sleepy doing a great job investing that grab to keep Ember locked in place for Exotic to find one with the Deadeye and the follow-up. Havoc doing an excellent job reacting as the team kill comes in from Athena, our in-game announcer. Havoc doing a great job now, even with 2 support ults online to weather this next storm.
I mean, that was a great play, good positioning by Ember. It just so happened that they were able, that Havoc was able to get exactly what they needed to. Dylan coming all the way across the map and picking up Lemonade.
Yeah, Dylan hopping out there, doing a great job. I think Dylan way up in Lemonade's face as the counter shatters.
Wow.
Again, Dylan
shattered through Panther's hog ult there, the whole hog.
Dylan finding free. Wow. Dylan, the DPS tank MVP, doing a great job playing that in-your-face Rhine. You know, we see a lot of Rhines that like to kind of sit behind their shield thinking, oh, I need to protect my team. As, Rascal with the cheeky TP, but the quick reaction on the Exotic flashbang to stun him out.
Yeah, that would have been a good play if he just had like 3 more seconds of patience on that one.
Well, there you go. Rascal finding Dylan as Ember looks to invest here, but War Bunny painting that capture beautifully with that Molten Core, finding 4, 2 with the Molten Core, 2 with the turret, and another team kill going the way of Havoc as 5 seconds tick down. I don't know that we're going to see a touch from Ember here as Focus looks to charge
Focus
in.
Get in there? Nope.
You know, a little unlucky, you know, for Ember, but credit to them trying some different things. You know, we saw them try to go around the high ground, and they got closer, a little bit closer to the point. And one team fight goes their way. That would have changed a lot of different things. But Havoc doing a great job building ult, farming damage, farming ult charge, and the stats show it.
Yeah, the stats show it 100%. I mean, look at that. Lemonade, Focus, and Panther, didn't even get to 2K on damage. Rascal's carrying with 2,400, and then Silver, 2,200 almost, as support. So, look at that, 6,300 healing. I mean, he's doing everything he can to keep his team alive, but, look at the consistent damage across War Bunny, Sleepy Tiger, Exotic. They were, I mean, just the healing of Ghost Dragon and Carp doesn't compare to the healing of Silver alone. And so that just goes to show the stats don't lie.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we can
absolutely.
hopefully they Ember's hoping for a draw on this map. That's the only option they have. If they give up one tick, the map will go to Havoc, and that will end this first match.
Yeah,
But
we'll
if it
see.
goes a draw, we'll go to another map.
Yeah, when we'll see here, we'll
Oh, we're
you
actually
know,
seeing a switch up.
yeah, we'll see here. Lemonade going back to her initial first days when we ran the trusty pirate ship Bastion defense is Dylan looking to get things started right off the bat, and he's going to find that Bastion right in his face.
Yeah, that's going to force them to play a lot further back. Even Exotic up there as the Widowmaker, forcing Ember to kind of compress around there around Lemonade on the Bastion.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of shield break options here on
Good
behalf
hook
of
by
Havoc.
Panther.
And
Wow.
Panther doing a outstanding job by Panther to find that Tracer to keep her away from that Ember Bastion with Lemonade. And Ember doing a good job, maybe looking a little uneasy as they rotate off the point. They've got to be aware that they can only afford to give up a little bit of ground, because that 1/3 tick is going to go extremely fast as Havoc coming in from the top rope.
Yeah, Dylan with a smart play. Going across all the map like that allows them to... Looks like they're going to collapse on Lemonade.
Sleepy Tiger and War Bunny doing a great job sneaking in the back. And again, Panther, crucial hook. Finding that hook through the window, and then I think getting that left click to clip in just a little bit. Ember doing a great job kind of making a victory out of, a little bit of a sloppy defense, but ultimately finding value there. Is Havoc, though, coming right back in their face.
Yeah, they knew Lemonade was down, and so they wanted to get back ASAP, but they're able to take Dylan out pretty quickly. Lemonade setting up in the hole where they can't get to her, and just forces Havoc for a regroup right away. So their strong push was a good idea. Exotic switching to the Junkrat to try to counter Lemonade, but it doesn't look like it's enough. Looks like they're going to take him out before Havoc can even get back together. It doesn't look like the Havoc trickle is working very well for this point.
No, it's hard to trickle in when you've got a Bastion with a full magazine and a strong left click. Dylan ended up going to be eliminated out of his shatter by Lemonade there. So great job, Lemonade, reacting to that rotation now, taking a couple of Junkrat grenades, but doing a great job moving that Bastion. I think you see, Bastion certainly, maybe considered a little cheesy, but Lemonade moving around, finding those off angles. When you're forced to go get that Bastion and you have to fight through 5 enemy team players, it makes it even harder to go get that Bastion when your Bastion's positioned in a way that's defensible by your team. As Havoc now trying to prod and poke in.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, I get it. Some people don't like to run a Bastion, or they think it's a bad play. But realistically, this is about winning, and these kids have been working hard to do that. So Lemonade with the ult there.
Exotic Tire gonna find 2, and Havoc now sounded as unlucky, and C9 unlucky. Dylan managing to push off the point. Panther hoping to maybe use that, but Havoc finds what they need to find to get that 1/3 tick. I thought Ember might have that. They got kind of broken up as Havoc made that last push. As we're gonna see War Bunny's Torbjorn. That is, great.
Throwing that lava on the point.
Yeah, great job zoning with that lava. And, finding the left clicks too. And, Torbjorn's not a hit scan DPS. So,
oh, look at that.
Havoc.
Almost 12,000 healing by Silver. Silver was doing all that he could to keep his team up there. But it just, it wasn't enough for Ember, our newest team in the league. Great match, though. I mean, I think Ember's going to take a lot from this and learn how to play on their next match, learn what they need to do. And as you can see, I'm not trying to be critical or anything, but I think you have to switch up your comp. You can't just stay the same way. And I think with Lemonade going to the Bastion at that point, excuse me, I think that proved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a big difference maker. And just that little bit we saw, forced Havoc to kind of make something out of nothing.
They were changing off left and right, to get out of that matchup.
Yeah, and repositioning that Bastion, Lemonade doing a great job. First I'm in one angle, now I'm in the off angle, finding the eliminations that they needed. But unfortunately, Havoc, able to kind of break through the shields, get set up, and unfortunately, when Bastion's left all alone, it feels like
Yeah,
you're
if
all
there's no
alone. It's
defense, yeah.
there's not much you can do. Your right click only going to heal you so often. But yeah, I agree. The comfort picks are good. The Ember looked good on their characters, if you look at them on an individual basis and as a team. But when you put them up against another team, sometimes your comfort pick is just not fundamentally enough to take it against another team. There's just the team
Well, and
synergy in regards to the heroes just maybe not bring enough to the table regardless of your mechanical skill.
I don't think these were necessarily all their comfort picks. I think this was maybe a comp that was put together. I don't know if it was by their coach Barlog or what exactly, but I'm not exactly sure what if this is a comp they were going with because they thought it countered Havoc really well. I'm not exactly sure, but they played it well. And so
Sure.
even if it was or wasn't their comfort picks, this comp they played well. I think what it ended it for Ember was the fact that they just didn't counter Havoc. It was Havoc was reactionary to what needed to be done. I mean, was proactive and go
Hmm.
ahead and changing their comp, and it put Ember in the reactionary standing, and they weren't able to counter what Havoc was doing. For example, we saw Dylan on ball for maybe the first little bit of the map. That's his comfort pick, and then he switched to the Reinhardt because of the heavy damage from Lemonade and Rascal. But you know what? This is what I like to see. You guys can't see this, but I can see the chat, the players in chat, and Carp just came out and talked about how fun it was, and is telling all the members of Ember how amazing they played, and that's what I really like to see is that at the end of this, even though all these guys are competitors, ultimately they're all the community, they're all friends, they know each other. We have monthly IRL get-togethers. This month we're going to be watching the Oklahoma State University Overwatch team play in the Oklahoma Association for Collegiate Esports Overwatch matches at the end of this month. So we're all going to get together and watch those as Oath League. All of our coaches that are currently in Oath are from the OSU varsity team. So this is a chance for our players to go and critique the coaches. I don't necessarily know critique, but definitely cheer on. But it was a lot of fun watching these two teams play. And we're right at the moment where we're going to take it to we're going to switch over. We're going to go to the next match. And the next match is the Shadowcats versus who are they playing, Kayla?
They're going against the Croutons. So
The
the
Croutons.
yeah, the victors from our inaugural season, the team to beat, the team that teams wanted to be, our first true meme team. But now, like you said earlier, we shook up the teams, we moved them around. So Croutons by
It's
name
all
and
different
by
now.
yeah, a whole different bag of croutons, you might say.
A whole different bag of croutons, a different salad topping, all different bread gang. Yeah, and who to watch out for on that one. I'll let those casters talk, but I definitely will be in chat watching. I'm excited to see Bob Soup playing a tank for the Croutons. He was one of the players in first team, the team that Kaylor and I coached. And the way this league works, guys, is these teams are going to play each other every Thursday. So make sure that you tune in 7 or 8 o'clock or 7 to 9 to watch both matches. You're going to get to watch the best 2 of 3. These teams are made up of kids that are 12 to 18 years old, 6th to 12th grade, and we're trying to solve the pipeline problem between youth esports and collegiate esports. For example, our friends at Oklahoma City University are putting on a combine for their esports program. So if you play Valorant, if you play Call of Duty, if you play Overwatch, Rocket League, or Smash, you can actually go sign up at Oklahoma City University, play in their combine, and try for a scholarship at their university. You do not have to be a senior. And I know a couple of our players from Oath League will definitely be in there. And some of our players are actually being actively recruited by schools like OCU, Stevens College out of Missouri, that's got an all-girls Overwatch team, are actually talking to some of our players. And that's what this is about, is setting these kids up as well as setting these coaches up for a future in esports. providing positive mentorship with people like yourself, Dane, and coaches like 22 and they all have real names, but I don't even know what those are. So coaches like 22 and Fuzzball, and some of our new coaches, Barlog, who is coaching Ember, and old coaches like Quantum, and new coaches like Lyra, who is helping a couple of the other teams. So that's what this is ultimately about. These are kids that love esports. They love the competition. They're wanting to take it somewhere, and coaches are the same way. These coaches love esports. They play esports at a super high level, and to be able to train the next generation, is really exciting to them. And the other thing is I heard some of the other players talking about. I can't wait to graduate from high school so that I can be a coach for Oath League as I'm playing at my university. So, how fun is that to have our kids, like Lemonade or Rascal or Sleepy or Carp come back and coach the next teams that are coming up. This to me is the future of esports. And if you're in chat watching or you're wanting to support in any way, shoot me an email, ready@oathleague.com. Visit us on any of our social media. Check out oathleague.com. We're doing something amazing here, and we want you to help us out with it. Excuse me.
Getting choked
So
up,
there's plenty of opportunities. I know it's just
getting
so
emotional.
emotional.
But yeah, it's it's a great time, to be a part of esports, try to get these kids, on the right foot, not just playing games. You talk a lot about burnout and, trying to make it constructive in a way that's a positive influence for them going forward and giving them skills that exist, beyond esports. So really excited to see, they want to come back, take over for us so that, they can come back and say, I'm the master now. And, you know,
Young grasshopper.
yeah, absolutely. Love to see it. My background in soccer, kind of thinking of like this as a club academy where, we build these players up and then they go on and then they come back and provide their insights to the new young players. And I
Yeah,
think
and
that's,
hopefully casting,
yeah, absolutely.
or running production, or helping with social media. I mean, there's so much stuff that surrounds esports that, any of the, I know that there's a couple that are wanting to help us out with our Discord channel and stuff like that. I mean, that's super cool. So, hey, I think we're going to go to a quick intermission, change out casters. You're going to see Fullest Brock, one of the coaches for the Shadowcats, and who's the other caster that's stepping in?
It's me.
It's
More me.
Dane.
It's more me. But wait, there's more. Surprise.
There's more Taylor. So, hey, this is Patrick, Refresh McClung. I am so thankful to see such great gameplay. Shout out to Epi, who is running such a great production program. Shout out to our coaching director, 22, who's helping make sure all the coaches are in the right space, make sure all the lobbies are right. And then shout out all to the coaches and players for doing this. And Taylor, thanks for running 2 hours of casting. That's
We
pro
got it.
level.
Strong vocal
That's
cords. It's
pro
nice
level.
and cold. I'm just getting warmed up here in Oklahoma. We're coming out of the deep freeze. This is the only thing that's brought some warmth. So we'll go to an intermission. I'll grab some honey and some
Hey,
tea.
I'm not choking because it's COVID. Okay, I don't have COVID. Just
Yeah,
letting you know.
we're all
Uh,
good. We're all good
so
here.
I just can't do the 2 hours like Coach Dane can. So get your tea, Dane, and
We'll
we'll see
see
you
it.
guys back here in a minute.
More Overwatch coming right up.
Oh, and shout out to our new subs, by the way. Thank you.
All right, we're back. I'm Kaler, in case you forgot, or you're just tuning in. I'm here now with Mr. Fullest Brock himself, tuning in. Uh, Second game. What'd you think of that first one? If you got a chance to watch some of that,
Oh,
Mr. Fullest
I
Brock.
was on the edge of my seat the entire time, such good play. I think it was Ember that took that first round, and you're like, man, this really could go either way. And you go into the round two, and Havoc takes it, and you're like, it's gonna go either way. Like,
It's
this is something. And then the
yeah,
hold on map three, like, it was crazy. It was so good to see, and a lot of good ultis. I was blown away, like you guys were, for the dual shatter on map one, where both teams just decided to take a nap.
yeah. That's a certainly you get that echo in the mix. You're not quite sure who they might clone, who they might get on the extra. I think we're gonna have to maybe try for a world record of how many Ryans can we get to simultaneously shatter each other, maybe in a custom lobby. But we're gonna see now the Crewtons and the Atoka Shadowcats from down
Mhm.
there in, I guess, southern Oklahoma, south central Oklahoma. Not
I
quite.
think we're considered Southeastern, I think.
Okay, I
That
know
sounds
it's
pretty close.
some towns get a little sensitive about where you refer to them, but I've been down there, done a little bit of work, and the neat thing about this is high school, or a high school esports program.
Yeah.
From unfortunately not playing from the dojo tonight, but pretty awesome what you guys have done down there in Atoka to bring esports to the town.
Oh yeah, and it's been great. Our local bank, Mayor State Bank, has been big in supporting us and saying, "Hey, we think this is awesome. We want to see what you can do. Get after it," and just being very supportive, along with all of our parents for all of our players. They're so excited to see their kids doing something other than just sitting at home playing video games. That's the goal here, is to not just play video games, but become better people from it, become better functioning members of society, and get some skills from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of skills, I know from watching preseason and certainly being involved, kind of the inaugural season, certainly in that tournament, the Atoka Shadowcats bring in some pretty heavy firepower across their team comp there. H Cobra, Markimus, Hole, Asian Andy, Blorgnar, Subpar. Really not a soft spot there on the Shadowcats as we come up against the Croutons with, again, some stalwart. I think the Croutons are going to have all returning players. So we're going to see quite a battle of seasoned pros in the
Yeah.
Oath League organization.
Well, and I haven't talked to the Shadowcats much today since we weren't at school, but the Croutons have a special place in the Shadowcats' heart, considering they beat us in the finals. So I'm excited to see what the guys come up with today.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was an outstanding experience of those, getting to do in-person finals. I think brings a little bit of extra pizzazz, to being able to play. I know for me playing in kind of dark land centers, back in my younger days, but seeing those stages with the gaming PC set up next to your teammates and feeding off that energy is something we hope to be able to provide once we kind of come out the other side of this pandemic. Get everybody in person and playing and cheering on, because the atmosphere is what makes it 100% for me. And watching the yelling and the screaming and the energy, certainly hard to beat.
I agree. I That was my first in-person esports experience. Was the Oath finals in the fall, and I had some expectations, and they were kind of blown away because I was just in awe of the energy in the room, the excitement, and then just the togetherness that each team, as individuals that hadn't really been together, somehow had this magical energy in person.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching the teams kind of blend outside of their respective teams. Refresh talked about it, is we're so big on the community aspect,
Mm.
and watching the individual players work together and help each other out. Maybe it's quick play, maybe they're, hey, can you help me, I'm working on my synergy with this hero, and you play them really well for your team. So it's great to see, we've got this competitive edge, we scratch that competitive itch, the players, the kids are able to get in there, be competitive, but immediately come out the other side, and their community sense is such a wonderful thing to watch. on the other side of this. Is I'm sure most of them would consider all of their teammates and opponents their friends now at this point, as we've been
Yeah.
going on, coming up on almost a year here. I think in March, when our first lucky trial runners of Oath will be a year old.
That's pretty cool to see that you've got a Euro program. We won't hit that until August, but we're working our way there, and it's exciting. With Overwatch just to see the teamwork that has blossomed and like you said, the community. I've been watching, even though, there have been blackouts here and there and internet going out here and there. We've had some opportunities where I've seen even some of my Shadowcats getting to pair up with other Oath players and go into some comp matches and get some extra practice in. And just that togetherness that you were talking about, it's pretty cool to see that that's happening even in the midst of pandemics, in the midst of icy, awful weather. People
Oh
are still
man, yeah.
playing games and having a community, even though they can't leave their house. They're still finding that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been wonderful to be able to, kind of provide that environment, certainly, on my behalf. And when it's cold and like, the pandemic's taken away a lot of your friend spaces, to be able to get all of us to get together and, achieve this and put this together and put this in front of in front of the crew, with the production, with Epi, and 22 running behind the scenes with the coaches, and getting everybody on the same page, and really building the brand and building the league, player first, making sure we're catering to their needs and what they need as they develop, both as esports players, but as they develop and get older and move on to other avenues of life.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see what develops this season, this spring season. As of right now, it being cold and everybody being apart, but still getting this practice in. And I'm wondering if there might be a little bit of extra practicing going on because they're at home. So, and I say that knowing that I hopped into a call with Refresh and two students that were at home, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I can definitely play right now," and talking about I've kind of got class, but I've got it pulled up, so I'm okay. So definitely some
Yep.
extra practice getting going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I find myself doing that if I'm stuck working from home. I think my deepest snowdrift here at the house was 19 inches.
Oh my.
So certainly a little bit of shoveling, maybe a little bit of a stretch. Oh, I'll work from home, can't make it in today. But there was certainly a little bit of, I can get to this report later, I can get to that report later. I got to get on and do some esports, play some games, and do some of that. As looks like everyone's looks like we're going to be in the lobby, as there's some bantering back and forth between the Shadowcats and Crewtons, headed to Nepal. Not one we see a lot, in Oath League. We haven't seen it quite a bit. We see a lot of Ilios, but Nepal, another great control map, King of the Hill, back and forth. What do you think we're going to see here coming out of these two teams?
Literally could be anything. I know that Bob Soup likes the Roadhog, but I don't know if the team isn't calling for that. I think that Bob Soup will play Reinhardt. We've seen some really good Reinhardts from him as well. Um, and once again, we've been working on some stuff with the Shadowcats, so there's a couple of things I expect from them that hero wise, but I don't want to let too much away. But I think that they've been practicing pretty hard with Reinhardt as well, with Markimus on Reinhardt. So we might see a Reinhardt duel going on. So that'd be pretty cool. I know that Subpar has been big on Zenyatta, but he's so mechanically strong he could play any of them. But I remember seeing Finn's Bridget on our last scrim, I think is what it was, and just blown away because it was like watching a third tank be on the map, just because would hold up the shield block a little bit, swing, get some damage in, get a little bit of healing going, just constant crazy. So literally, I don't know what to expect. There could be anything. They could throw something out of left field and I wouldn't even know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you hit it on the head. Subpar. I certainly would say, I'd be lying if I wasn't looking out for his Zenyatta. I mean, we saw him in the preseason just single-handedly, demolishing teams with those left clicks, keeping his team up, moving those orbs around. We got to see the production staff with the highlight reels, and Bob Soup, his production again, like you said, the Reinhardt. But here we see on this first point with this big pit, Okay, Bob Soup. I was thinking maybe we'd see him on his trusty Roadhog, as the Crewtons and your Atoka Shadowcats ready up their comps, as we're 15 seconds from launch. So looking a little, looking pretty good there. The Atoka Shadowcats with the Rhine Zarya, pretty common. Hole and Asian Andy, I know, are a dynamic duo on DPS as the doors open with a swish there on behalf of the Shadowcats.
I'm completely thrown off at the fact that we have an Asian Andy that's not on a Hanzo right now.
Yeah, I mean, watching him on that Hanzo, I know everybody in Oath respects the Asian Andy Hanzo, as we're gonna kind of square off. Looks like on opposite sides of the point. Cyrus on his trusty Diva, Bob Soup providing that shield backup.
Amaram trying to get a good pick on point, standing over to the side trying to get a good sight line going.
Yeah, and Shadowcats doing a great job walking in, but quickly backed up there as the Crewtons walk in to kind of go duel for duel in this inside space. So close. Dabbin and Bob Soup getting in there. H Cobra finding 2, 1 tank and 1 support on that Zarya with some decent charge and energy from that bubble management.
Yes, and it looks like we got a Shadowcat capture on point 1. We see Amaram still just getting the shots in, trying to get a little bit of damage in, just to try to find that good pick.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I like the off angle from Imaran, but it looks like Asian Andy gonna try to walk over there and say, hey, you know, and that's enough poke, and he's gonna put Imaran down, send him back to spawn, and a great TP out.
It looks like he was tired of that the Amaram off angle that we were talking so much about.
Yeah, the Shadowcats doing a great job using this line of sight corner to kind of bully away as Dabbin finding some damage with that dash in there as Bob Soup has that Shatter online. And as I say that, he's going to call it. The Shatter comes in. Lots of ults invested there. Grabs. We have Dueling Deadeyes, a Genji Blade, as Shadowcat's going to weather the storm, though.
Both really good McCree ults there, getting the blading Dabbin and then also Blorgnar. So down to support on one side and down to DPS on the other.
Absolutely. So the Crewtons looking to regroup here. I thought maybe Bob Soup had another good Shatter, but Subpar going to use that window, and anything that comes through that window is going to have a little bit extra mustard on it, and certainly not something you want to be on the other end of. As Bob Soup, Dabbin, you know, finding that Reinhardt duel that you had talked about earlier. Markham is going to go down 4 now on behalf 5. Almost a full team kill there for Crewtons as they turn the point, but Shadowcats 78% of their way to victory for this point number 1 on the first map in Nepal.
And we see Bob Soup 90% to old 98%, got a good fire strike in, and then Amaram at 84, and then Finn sitting on the rally, but we see Shadowcats with 4 ults ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and another good flashbang there from Imaram. The delay is, we're gonna see Finn ears burning. He's gonna use that, invest that Brigitte rally, and gonna end up being able to keep his team topped off enough. Bob Soup finding 1, finding 2 with the Shatter. As Crewton's doing a great job weathering the storm. I expected Shadowcats just to kind of enter in with some ults, ult usage, but maybe maybe a little bit of tactical play. You know, I like you have some headroom with a 78% advantage. You know, not investing team fight ults. And there's a Markham with Shatter, all by himself. Unfortunately, going to be cleaned up, but you know, not using ults. Cyrus going to go for the early nuke, finding 2 from downtown, maybe catching them out a little bit, but still, you know, rolling through the Crewtons, almost 78% charge, but still 4 ults online, 2 DPS and 2 support ults are nothing to shake a stick at, as the Shadowcat's going to look to push out here and maybe take this back.
See the window and Dabbin come in, and
Dabbin gonna find 2, but Hole a little late on the Deadeye, gonna end up finding him. Bob Soup finds the fire strike on Markamis, and now Bob Soup's gonna find the Shatter. And we've got Shadowcats making their way to the point, forcing Crewtons to back up and fight on the point, staying alive, opting to try for the hackle, the Havoc trickle.
Archimus gets in just in time. We see immortality from Subpar and a window as well.
Yeah, doing a great job, Subpar using that window to keep Markimus alive, that extra little bit of healing. But overtime going to tick down quickly, and Crewtons going to take point one. A pretty good back and forth. I mean, 100 to 78's about as close as you can get. You know, almost 100 to 100. So not, you know, a pretty good team fight for that opening point for both teams.
Yeah, and we saw that we looked like the Shadowcats were just going to hold it for the whole time, and then we saw that Crewtons weren't going to let that happen and decided to fight back.
Yeah, you know, I like seeing the Crewtons push forward, you know, kind of push forward and line up their defense, you know, at that initial choke, as we got some stats online now for us. This great J Prosk designed and coded lobby for us, giving us some stat tracking as we see Crewtons doing a great job. Bob and Cyrus bringing on the damage is great when your tanks can apply that. As
Squid with the nearly 10k healing on his own. Big healing numbers.
Yeah, big healing numbers. Both teams gonna opt to fight on this high ground, kind of becoming a common opening team fight where you get a full 6 with a great anti-nade from Blorgnarth there. As we saw, you know, Blorgnarth in the preseason with his anti-nades, denying that healing for the enemy team, doing a great job forcing the Crewtons back, and ultimately Crewton's gonna drop to the point, maybe to find control. Yeah.
Gets to sleep on the Diva.
So Crewtons get control kind of right off the bat, but ultimately the Atoka Shadowcats gonna walk in to clean it up and say, okay, you know, we're gonna take this team fight. Crewtons with 12% and a sound team fight win there for the Atoka Shadowcats as Crewtons forced to regroup.
You know, and it seemed like could literally go any way. We saw a pick and a pick with, I think it was Subpar getting downed, or it might have been Hull. I can't remember. Just trying to keep up with that team fight. And then we saw the Brigade on the opposing team get picked. So it was just kind of a back and forth. And
absolutely,
just like they brawled longer.
Yeah, Subpar going to invest that window and his lamp to keep his team topped off. But doing a good job, you know, almost single-handedly keeping the Crewtons at bay there in that lower choke area as they look to walk through here behind Bob Soup's shield. And now the Squid, SQD-14 as he's now affectionately known, as they invest that window.
You know, and you have to respect the window. You don't think of how much damage it really does until you're getting hit by it.
Yeah, absolutely. That window brings a little bit extra damage and a ton of extra healing for your team. And if you're being attacked through that window, your health pool goes down extremely quickly. As Bob Soup and Cyrus each going to find an elimination apiece, Squid and Cyrus finding another, but Subpar not going to let it go uncontested and going to let Bob Soup know you're going to pay for that, for what you did to my team, using those jump boots to try to stay away, but Cyrus going to clean them up and walk forward. But tons of ults coming online for both teams. I think we're going to see a big Q-mash fest as Cyrus going to invest it again early. Finds nobody that time, but he's going to get his mech back.
You know, we talk about that ult management a lot, and I think that trying to get a pick like that is a good way to use it, just because you've got point, it buys a little bit of time, and then it lets you start building your new one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we saw it on the first point. If you throw it early while that team's walking out of spawn, you might catch one or two out, and that could be enough for a reset as the Shadowcats with 6 ults coming online. As Asian Annie's going to invest the Death Blossom, Cyrus going to eat almost all of it with that DM. Hull's going to find Imaram. H-Cobra going to use that, and Shadowcats all on the correct side of that kill feed. Investing only half of their ults. A good, not quite, you know, a team kill, certainly in the grand sense. You know, they ended up eliminating all 6 and sending them back. You know, nicely done with only 3 ults invested, and, you know, to use, force the Crewtons to use 3 ults. You know, Imaram now switched over to the Soldier, and then Finn and Squid both starting from 0.
And we see with Dabin already with Blade, as well as Bob Soup with his. But it looks like they're going to pick off Bob Soup before he can actually get to use it. Cyrus building quickly to his as well.
Yeah, and it looked like Bob Soup going to keep his ultimate, though. Maybe he killed a little early. Unless that was Mark. I didn't catch who that was, but Dabin gonna look for the single blade. Oh, an outstanding sleep from Blorgnarth to hit Dabin as he dashes through the middle. Is Bob Soup, though, with
Huge
a big
shatter.
shatter. Gonna walk in a swing, but he doesn't quite have the follow-up. Finn's gonna come in now. No ults left now online for the Crewtons as they're gonna try to find it. Imaram finds Blorgnarth with the rocket blast, but unfortunately, one apiece now. We're going the distance on map number 1.
It seems like all of our games are going to go the distance. We went 3 rounds in the first game, and then going to go 3 rounds in this game, or hopefully. But I like to see a lot of good Overwatch.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that second point, a lot of really good back and forth as we look now at the healing done.
Large amount of healing from both teams.
Yeah, Subpar and Squid on the Baptiste. Subpar almost 14k and Squid doing a strong 16k healing so far through this map, and you know, both teams pretty even back and forth. You know, Shadowcats doing a great job staying together, staying cohesive, and finding those finding that value as a team to keep that point. Even, you know, as the Crewtons were doing a great job pushing back.
We see Dabin with a quick pick on Asian Andy, but Hole getting revenge for his teammate.
Yeah, quick trade 1-for-1 as we see again the Blorgnarth grenade finding Bob Soup as he has to back up and eventually gets eliminated. Hole finding a flashbang elimination, not something you see every day on the Finn, but Shadowcats decisively taking this first team fight and taking control of that point.
You know, and we were talking about Finn on Brigitte, and we saw there, I was wondering what was going to happen because Finn was right on top of Markimus, just swinging away. And if you can get a little bit of healing, it's really hard to man-fight a Reinhardt as a Bridget, but you can do it. It's just really hard, and it doesn't last very long usually.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, certainly when you're going toe-to-toe with a Brig, every time you do damage and she clocks you with that flail, watching her health pool go back up is certainly an unfun feeling. As Dabin finding a big dive in with Doom trying to break it up, but ultimately being eliminated is Asian Andy finding Imaram on the Reaper duel. And again, Shadowcats, a strong defense. Their DPS. And Cyrus hoping to find a little value with that suicide nuke there at the end as they reset now.
And I can't tell, it looks like H Cobra has quite a bit of charge sitting there ready to go to be used against the opposing team. Along with an ulti, now that I say that.
And again, we see the Shadowcat. Yeah, it looks like H Cobra sitting on almost 70% charge. So certainly if he can find a strong grab there as he takes even more with that good bubble use. Bob gonna find a good shatter, gonna just W in. But the grab comes in, everything being invested now on the behalf of the Crewtons trying to turn this back as Cyrus now in the Baby Diva mode. Finds Markimus with that little bit of extra melee damage.
Got to respect the melee. It topples even the biggest of opponents sometimes.
Every little bit helps as we see Cyrus now going to switch over to the Mr. Hamster Hammond Ball himself. You know, looking to keep that high mobility, maybe find some knockups. You know, maybe knock off the point and do a little disruption. Wow, yeah, Shadowcats doing a great job finding the picks. You know, immediately Bob Soup goes down, but Dabin finding a support with, you know, 3 now down. Again, Asian Andy finding some value, chunking out those health pools as Cyrus looking to spin to win, and that's all it takes. You know, you trickle in, get rid of that Baptiste lamp. You know, great job creating space. You know, having that hamster, the Hammond Ball, to use those spins to knock back.
Goodness.
Shadowcats. A whole lot going on as the perpetual team fight goes on as Cyrus spins and the Nano gets invested there on Markimus, and overtime quickly going down. Cyrus not able to get back to the
Neither
point.
team not wanting to give up that point. Like there were like 3 different times like, oh, they've got it captured, and all of a sudden that pin would just barely stop. I'm like, okay, maybe not. Just so much going on, and both teams constantly coming back into this fight. crazy long team fight going on right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a ton going on, and credit to both teams being able to stay focused and stay engaged. It's hard. Cyrus doing a great job, spinning to delay, and then and then unhooking that and being able to knock back to hopefully get some space created for his team to turn that point. But unfortunately, the Shadowcats just too strong on that defense, doing a great job topping each other off and staying strong as they take map 1. But a good showing from both teams, certainly.
Yeah, and there were some good picks right there from Dabbin on that Doomfist. I saw him run in, just magically appear, it seemed like, out of nowhere. Knock Subpar in the air, and Subpar dropping Lamp, also dropping his self-heal to attempt to survive it. And Dabbin was going to make sure that he wasn't getting away from it, and that enabled his team to get in there and try to make a good push of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly that I know one of the running jokes certainly for Doomfist is you got to know the rollout, and
You got to know the rollout.
Dabbin certainly knew the rollout because he was right up there in that first kill feed almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And finding forcing the other team on the cooldowns, some great value if you can get an elimination and force the enemy supports to use up some of their longer cooldowns. Good value.
Yeah, and our next map is actually Junkertown, and I hope we get to see a little bit more Doom play. I like it because from playing support some, it's kind of scary to have a Doom in the lobby just because you never know, he could be walking around a corner just waiting to punch you in the face, and there you are. Like it's always fun to have him there just because it puts everybody on edge a little bit.
Yeah, certainly. Those high mobility characters can cause a ton of havoc now as we go into this Junkertown lobby. But certainly, those high mobility characters, the Tracers, the Doomfist, the Hammond Ball, kind of asking you to elevate your mechanics and your team play, because if you're able to subdue them, that damage has to come extremely quickly to secure that elimination. Otherwise, they're in one side, out the other, and by the next time they come back, they're at full health and in your face all over again.
Yeah, and it's scary. I've swapped from playing a Zenyatta or an Ana multiple times just because like I'd rather try to man fight somebody as a Brig than try to hit a sleep and miss, and then hit a nade and then do my best there and just hope that my teammates clean up. I'd rather be there for that next fight by stunning with a Brig and then just swinging that flail around and then being there for the next fight.
Absolutely. So we're gonna see Markimus now off the Rhine on to Winston the Monkey. Not sure if it's something you guys, some top secret sauce you guys have been working on down there. I'm a big fan. I'm a Zarya player. I like being able to bubble Winston into team fights. It gives me charge so that I can find value for my team, and it gives him a little bit of extra staying power while he's harassing that back line with that huge amount of cleave damage from that Tesla gun.
So I wish I could say you said it might be our secret sauce. I don't know how much Winston he's been working on, because with it being out, I know we weren't working on it in the dojo, but I like to see it, especially with his new buff. Maybe we'll get to see something. I think this isn't like the Zarya Winston combo called like double bubble or something like that.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, double bubble if that's your favorite longtime chewing gum. And we saw him immediately straight into the back line to disrupt up there, and a great job as we saw that double bubble come out almost immediately. A great job there by the Shadowcats, diving into that back line, disrupting that back line of the Crewtons, and allowing the tanks, the rest of the team from the Shadowcats, to drive this cart.
We see Hole and Asian Andy bullying Bob Soup, trying their best to get him out. Bob Soup keeps pulling up that shield, just barely gets him before, barely dies before I think he could get another swing on the Shadowcats.
Yeah, absolutely, and just such huge mobility Markimus has there on that Winston. Being able to jump pack up and then get that second bounce in, using that bubble to kind of deny the team as he goes in again. Is Shadowcats just going to keep pushing this cart forward, and it can certainly feel smothering when a bubbled Winston comes in, backed up with Zarya's Bob Soup. So I'm about had enough of that. I'm going to shatter you. I'm going to get you. We need to try to slow this down, but Shadowcat's going to push here to this first checkpoint.
It's kind of scary, like you were saying, seeing that Winston come in, because that if he drops his shield on you after that, then you're probably not getting a lot of healing from your supports because they can't heal you through a shield. So it's big scary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's so many different angles. It's not just being able to dive into the enemy backline, like you said, using that bubble to deny space for the enemy team. As we saw the sleep come in from Finn to disrupt it, but still Shadowcats making progress with 2 and 3 people on the card at all times. As the Crewtons look to find a defensible high ground here, they're kind of scattered around this perpetual team fight almost. There really hasn't been a decisive victory, but the Shadowcats applying enough pressure there to just keep walking forward.
I like the angles that we're seeing. I know Amaram got picked there by Markmas, but I like the angles that we're seeing from Amaram and Squid to attempt to make sure that there's plenty of healing, along with dishing out some damage.
Absolutely. We saw Asian Annie there. A good reaction. He was safe originally from that Cyrus and Diva Bomb. And a great purple there from Finn as I saw that. But the reaction from Asian Annie to use his Wraith Walk to avoid the damage from that where he thought he was safe.
We see the wall from Subpar, or Window.
Yeah, Subpar doing a great job. And when you're trying to fight a Window and you're anti-healed by an Ana, there's not a lot of places you can hide to avoid damage.
Dabin's picking up with the 2K.
Yeah, Dabin, opting to go for the Tracer, maybe to try to be a little more slippery, a little less direct, finding the off angle. Cyrus going to look to delay here. Finding the pile drive, being kept alive there by the Squid that Bath Lantern. And H-Cobra going to use Grab, going to use Monkey Ult.
Oh my.
An interesting combo, certainly, but, ultimately you win the team fight. Asian Andy getting the final kills there for the final blows for those eliminations on his Reapers. Checkpoint 2 going the way of the Shadowcats.
And it seems like the fights are one-sided, but they're really not. They're just getting 1 pick, 2 pick, and then they just fall one way. It's really could be anybody's fight because there was 2 picks on the Shadowcats to start that one, and it just so happened to fall our way.
Yeah, I think the Crewtons could definitely use a strong reset. I think they need to get together, in their comms and say, hey, let's take a breather now. Is Cyrus gonna go in alone, solo, finding a good pile drive as the Nano comes out there, but not before Asian Andy comes in off the top rope with a 3-man Death Blossom, and that's gonna put a lot of hurt on the team when you can remove 2 DPS and a support. And again, Shadowcats just driving along Route 66. As if they were going on here now on the third point, pushing closer to the end.
Both the Monkey and the Reaper adding that little bit of worry that we have to be careful where we're at because they could TP on us or jump on us. Makes it a little bit scarier. Makes you have to pick your spots way better.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bob again finding 3 is now Dabin finding the sticky bomb, the pulse bomb. And I think we're going to see, though, there it is. The Crewtons finding some solid ground, investing some ults to get there, but it could be a huge morale boost. When it feels like you're kind of being pushed the whole map to get a decisive team fight win is, sometimes that's the mental reset that you need.
Yeah, and I think that was a good fight right there. It looks like the Crewtons, like you said, got a good reset, got together and said, all right, we've got to make this work. Here's a shatter coming, and let's do something big with it. And we saw that Amaram and Cyrus and Dabin all committed to make sure that something good happened from it, and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. And Subpar going to invest the window early around the corners. The Crewtons just going to back up.
Good play on the Crewtons not to just push into the window.
Absolutely. Bob Soup using his charge there for about 6 inches, crashing into the wall. As we're going to see both teams use this corner to fight as Asian Andy in the back line finding Squid. That's going to put the Crewtons down to support. And Squid going to end up going down. Nobody with the dead eye. Amaram going to clean it up, though.
Amaram to make sure to get rid of Hole before he can get a shot off.
Yeah, Crewtons now lining up a good, strong defense. Again, Bob finding just enough value with those shatters. But behind him, his team falling. H-Cobra using the grab to find Finn, and then Markham following up on Dabin. The Crewtons, they're split. Winning a team fight off the point, losing a team fight on the point. Cart's going forward.
Yeah, getting that little bit of extra space. Big play on the Crewtons. They know that the Shadowcats have a much further walk than they do, so making use of that and making sure that they're back for that fight before the Shadowcats can actually set up.
Yeah, again, now we're going to see Crewtons pushing back. Dabin finding a lot of value now on this Tracer swap. Doing a great job of harassing and locking in those eliminations. As again, we see Subpar with good window placement, kind of in the face of the Crewtons, forcing him to respect it and back up. With Markimus up there, ever looming on his Winston, just damaging everybody with that Tesla cannon. And we're going to see the classic Nano Visor. Imaram going to find 4 now, as they're going to push out. And if you can get a decent Nano as Dabin alley-oops the Tracer Pulse Bomb onto Asian Andy.
Really good play on the Crewtons there to make sure to hold their point, getting a little bit of more space now, getting the cart pushed back so they've got a little bit more play room. It looks like we see the Shadowcats regrouping as well. And we've got Blorgnarth ulti, but that's all we've got right now from them. But slowly building it up on Markimus and Hole.
Yeah, Bob getting a little stretched. Is the Diva Bomb gonna get stuck? I like the idea. Unfortunately, didn't get it. That would have been a good space maker and an area denial there from Cyrus if it would have gone over. And Markimus now gonna look to juggle away those Crewtons. Oh boy, another
it's a 4-man
chatter
there
from Bob, but unlucky with the minimal follow-up. Unfortunately, with the rest of the Crewtons kind of denying from the back, as Hole's gonna find Squid. And we're, a good job by the Crewtons, late in the game, but finding it in H Cobra with the good awareness to grab off the point. So Shadowcats.
You gotta know. You gotta know that it's big to, yeah, they got to point, but there's no time bank left. That means they'll get like a minute, I think is what it is, if this goes into overtime. That's big for the Crewtons if they can make sure that even if they get 10 seconds more than the Shadowcats, that's big.
Yeah, I was looking to take a look at some stats here, and a pretty even story in the damage done department for both teams. Both teams putting some strong damage down, but Subpar rolling in 10,000 damage or healing done for his team. Blorgnarth 4,500, doing a great job keeping their teams up, and Finn and Squid, doing their best to keep their teams up, keep them alive while still putting out some damage. Unfortunately, each of those team fights kind of going the way of the Shadowcats on that first push while they were on attack. Different story though. You swap attack defense. Crewtons might have a top secret play. They might have a top secret plan.
They very well may. I know that for me, it seems like defending is so difficult. It's just because it seems like you're constantly having to give up a little bit of space, until finally you have very little space to play in, while the attackers just feel like they've got the whole map to play around.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely feels, certainly on Junkertown, if you can't get that strong defensive stance, it feels like you're retreating almost the whole game, even when you're kind of winning some team fights, as the doors go open and the Crewtons look to push the cart this time.
We see that Markimus decided to get off the Winston and switch back to Reinhardt, playing the strong corner right here at the first. Gets in a fight with Bob Suit.
Yep, absolutely. And a big anti-nade there from Blorgnarth, finding 3, denying healing, keeping pressure there on the frontline Crewtons. Imaram gonna find Markimus. H Cobra gonna find Bob, but Cyrus gets H Cobra. Crewtons doing a good job pushing out. Cyrus doing a great job bullying there on his Diva, getting in the face, using that Matrix to deny any incoming damage for his team, as Subpar gonna back up. But one thing I've noticed, the Shadowcats have done a great job with a multi-prong attack. Asian Andy, every time I spot him, is on an off angle in the back line, just causing so much havoc and damage for his team. But Crewtons now finding 3 more eliminations. 4. Moving forward. So a great opening attack by the Crewtons.
Yeah, it definitely gets to point one. Like, once again, you see that time bank. They've got a lot of time that they just built up because they got it as quickly as they could. And you were talking about the Asian Andy, those weird sightlines. I think his time of playing, all that time playing Hanzo, has kind of hardened him to be like, oh yeah, this is a really good spot to be getting into.
Absolutely. If he's going to go up and face-to-face with Davin, he doesn't want anything to do with a Reaper in his face. But, getting some cart push here, but I'm looking for Asian Andy to build some more Aldous. He's going to drop in and try to build that Blossom. Bob Soup going to swing and put him down rapidly.
You know, and I think that's smart. When you have a hero that dives in like that, it's better to quickly deal with them than let them linger too long.
Absolutely. H-Cobra doing a great job finding Finn with those Zarya right clicks.
Oh, Dab with a double kill.
dabbing with the pulse bomb, and now Imaram finding 2 huge value for the ults invested. Imaram and Dabin doing a great job kind of pushing their team forward with that DPS, putting their team on their back there for that little brief team fight. But here we see Crewtons pushing forward, gonna leave the cart for Finn there to follow up, hoping to maybe delay the Shadowcats enough to get this checkpoint. And we'll see if Shadowcats may opt to just give it for free, knowing that if they lost the team fight here.
Well,
I take that back. They're going to contest. Ready. Yeah, lots of ultimates online.
H-Cobra coming close. Bob
again, quick on the trigger to use that Q. With Dabin and Cyrus there to follow it up. Dabin again finding 2. Dabin's Tracer this game. You know, we don't see him on there a lot, but an outstanding job with the Tracer swap, being very hard to track down and finding a ton of eliminations.
Yeah, and we see subpar swap to the Brigitte, and we'll see how that goes. Fun hero that can do a lot. We'll see.
And there it is, Cyrus with the quick Diva nuke into the back. You know, you don't expect it walking out of your spawn door. With 4.5 minutes as we round the corner on the home stretch for the Crewtons to push forward. As Squid's gonna use the window, Finn's gonna use the Nano Tracer, which the way that Dabin's been playing, you might find some value. And now we're gonna see the 4-man Death Blossom. Asian Andy again coming in from behind with the H-Cobra grab to hold them there for him.
Holt picks off 2 there as well, so we see the team kill happen as well. Crazy good. Yeah. That's a lot of ultis though.
Right, and this is the same place where we saw the Crewtons, right? They invested quite a bit of ults, but they got that decisive, strong team win after being kind of continuously pushed back. So now we see Shadowcats going to set up, find a strong position to defend, and force the Crewtons to come and get them.
Yeah, and we still have the Markamus and Blorgnarth ultis to see, but we see Amaram getting very close, along with Bob Soup getting very close to their ultis as well.
And we're going to see Squid try to keep his team topped off. Again, Bob with another 3-man shatter right after that nose, and Finn with an outstanding Ana grenade, keeping everybody down, but H-Cobra just a massive energy there on his Zarya beam. It's like sitting at 70%. And again, just like we saw the last time, you know, you make your stand on this corner and it's just a tricky spot.
Yeah. I like both teams making good use of the fan at the top to try to get a little bit of extra damage, get a little bit of extra pick in to try to make a play off of it.
Absolutely, and we're going to see a couple more ults come online for this next fight. Imaram and Dabin, again, we saw them grab huge value with the Tracer Pulse Bomb and the Visor. Unfortunately, not finding the value needed there on Dabin's Tracers on that Sticky Bomb. Imaram finding Markamus, finding Hole, investing the Visor when he's got the aimbot.
Getting Cobra as well.
Asian Andy again, the strong off angle. But Bob Soup with the predictive toss there, gonna drive this with 2 minutes left on the clock. I think they're gonna get up there before Bob with a great counter pin.
Great play there, throwing the Diva Bomb into their spawn and also charging in. Didn't give the Shadowcats any time to actually get towards point.
Absolutely. So we'll see now. You know, an interesting little turn of events here is the Crewtons handedly push that to the end. So we'll see now the Crewtons a chance to kind of maybe pull victory from the brink here. As you know, certainly the Shadowcats had an outstanding opening attack as Subpar moving past 15k healing done for his team. Asian Andy, 10k damage done. Imaram almost 13. Strong numbers certainly from both teams, Brock.
Yeah, and you love to see it. You love to see the team play there. Even H-Cobra and Markamus sitting right around 8.5k. We see Bob Soup with 10k on his Big Reinhardt, and Cyrus with just about 8k, just short of it. So big numbers coming from the DPS and tanks in terms of damage dealt, which is what you like to see. You like to see that damage being dished out, and I think that's what's allowed both Squid, Finn, Blorgnarth, and Subpar to get those big healing numbers, just because they're on top of it. They see the damage coming. They said, "All right, we've got to do something about this to help try to slow everything down."
Yeah, absolutely. So Croutons here looking to hold out for this minute to give them an easy shot, at victory, trying to hold this out long enough and to kind of deny some push and give them a better chance with that 3-minute 15-second time bank.
Yeah, and it's what we talked about to start off the Croutons attack round, that you got a big time bank, and they added a whole 2 minutes and 15 seconds into comparison to what the Shadowcats have, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing some good progress off the bat. Bob Soup, good charge there, followed up by the Finn and a grenade. But Markimus finding some great damage done with that Rhine hammers. H Cobra also finding value. Again, big charge. H Cobra doing a great job managing his bubbles as the Shadowcats finding a really strong team fight win and just pushing W here, walking forward.
You know,
you got to be careful. You got to be careful here with this overtime, not to C9, as you've got to just stay on that card and keep driving it as far as you can in overtime.
Quick pick on Bob Soup, but he did stop the cart, which stopped all of this.
Listening to H Cobra's charge on the Zarya, already farming the Gravis. He's going to invest it there. Just beaming everybody down. Finn doing his best stall tactics, and Bob maybe gonna back up. Yeah, probably being called to retreat. And as you notice, as they hit that checkpoint, you don't get any additional time bank here on these later pushes. Once overtime starts to tick down, you have to push as far as you are able to go. And Shadowcats making a great last stand here on the cart as they find more value as Cobra and Markimus push forward, trying to extend the amount of room they can push that cart.
Puts the wall on the cart, so it's mobile. That's scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Great awareness to put that on the cart, keeping that value. As we're gonna try to see Hole hopefully find a pick through that. And Imaram, a good rear positioning. And Cyrus just gonna drop the nuke on there as Bob Soup comes in with that nano, swinging away. That new Ryan hammer certainly spooky enough, and when it's backed up by a nano, it's kind of hard to do as overtime's going to tick down. Crouton's going to win that team fight. Finishing it off with the team kill, but a great push by the Shadowcats, all things considered, with 1 minute left.
Yeah, lots of room to play with there. Now it's just a matter of defense.
Yep, I think now's the chance where you can say defense wins games, certainly at this point.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Goodness. Subpar is about to break 20k damage. Depending on, or healing, sorry, depending on how much time is spent healing in this round, which it seems like he's on par to go ahead and break 20k healing.
Got him. Yeah, absolutely. And I think time for Subpar runs a little bit differently. I think we'll see well north of 20k here as the Croutons are going to have just over 3 minutes to push this cart, but still, again, the numbers are so close, and and they reflect the story that you and I have both been casting. We've been watching both teams, so much back and forth, winning team fights, giving up ground, and it's just been all around a great job by both teams here on Junkertown.
For sure. Yeah, and I think that right here we could see a very good push that happens fairly early on. We saw that this point went fairly fast for the Croutons that first round, so it could go.
Yeah, we'll get a pause. But that's all right. Gives us a break. We can break down some more stuff, see what we're up against. As these two comps, so similar to what we've seen, both teams doing a good job, playing their comps, dabbing over on the Genji, trying something a little bit different, maybe try to catch them out. What do you think, after we've been able to watch, a couple of team fights, a couple of rounds back and forth, going into the last little bit, what do you think here for this last 3 minute push for the Croutons?
I think that the Shadowcats have to be very wary. We were talking about healing numbers, and I completely missed that Imaram is sitting at 16k damage right now. That's scary to think that there's a guy walking around just waiting to get more damage in and
Yeah,
doing it
absolutely.
very effectively. So I think that the Shadowcats, if they're going to defend, have to make sure that they've got Imaram's number. And Dabin with 10k, and Dabin's Genji blades are scary too. So two things like DPS wise, that means you kind of have to worry about what's in front of you with Amaram and worried about what could be coming from behind you with Dabin. So I think that to be able to have a strong defense here, the Shadowcats are really going to have to bring it all together and have strong comms and be 100% ready to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like we're tech issues resolved. IT's been phoned in as we're going back to live here. And yeah, I think, if I'm the Shadowcats, I'm looking to maybe stop the Croutons by stopping Imaram and Dabin. Certainly Finn and Squid, Bob, Cyrus being difference makers. But if you can shut down the ult charge of Imaram and Dabin and kind of break their ability to find value for their team, I think you're going to do really well there as on the Shadowcats defense, though. A little disjointed on this high ground, kind of spread out like a little shooting gallery, wiggling back and forth. But Hole, right off the bat, finding Dabin, taking him off the board. But Bob Soup finding Markamus. So again, back and forth.
And Bob Soup gets H Cobra. It's almost like he heard us talking and we didn't mention his name to be scared of him.
I know, yeah, and watching Bob Soup play this kind of attacking Ryan has been an absolute joy to watch. His fire strikes as a projectile, watching him predict and throw those fire strikes to get kills is, we see the Croutons a strong first team fight. They're going to cap this in under just over a minute to run this first point. They're going to have 2 minutes now to go just that little bit further than the Shadowcats.
Yeah, just halfway through position 2.
And Squid there almost. Squid and Finn both now almost both support ults. Bob Soup finding his Ryan Shatter, and we're going to see ults come online now too for the Shadowcats. It's certainly a race to the ultimates now, is 4 online for the Croutons. And 2 ults going to be in the hole, unfortunately. Finding Finn, and Finn having that nano online would have been a big difference maker if the Croutons were going to look to push. And gonna invest the window, gonna invest the Shatter. Croutons maybe getting a little bit bloodthirsty, kind of sensing the end, investing a lot of ults, only to lose the team fight.
Yes, but we see Davin and Finn both, so we could see a nano blade here very quickly, with the Shadowcats having H Cobra and Markamus's ultis to combat it.
Absolutely, and I know having played a Ana Pocket for Dabin in quick play on occasion, I know he will be begging for that nano on his next dash to try to find it. As we're under a minute now. Ooh, Cyrus's nuke falls just short, unfortunately.
That would have been crazy if it had landed
at top. And there's the nano. Dabin immediately onto Blorgnard, finding 2 with Hole, and Imaram following it up, finding his 3rd and 4th. There it was, the Imaram Dabin show.
I think that is round.
I think that's gonna do it. So just like you said, the Dabin Nano Blade to close us out. The icing on the cake, if you will.
You gotta fear the blade.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see. Maybe we'll even get it to be play of the game, which for me, I mean, that's the right call. Yeah, absolutely. So the dash up, good tracking, finds 1, finds 2.
Gets a par.
Yeah, doing a great job.
Finishes off the ones on the ground. Oh.
Yeah. Great job by
good plays.
Yeah, but again, both teams just back and forth. I mean, it came down to almost overtime again, to that last push. So both teams, I mean, incredibly well balanced and back and forth playing, slightly different comps, and we're 1-1. You and I are going the distance.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to cast 6 games today, is what it seems like.
Yeah, hey, that's what we're here for. I love it. I get a kick out of it. It's fun to do. It's fun to watch. Kind of from a high level. Certainly spectating and being able to cast it and see what happens as we're waiting for the next map pick to come out of the Atoka Shadowcats. And I know I about froze to death this week. How'd you guys fare down in Atoka?
I've tried to spend as little time outside as I can, but that's just because I am a summer guy. You want me to sweat? You want me to do anything outside in the summer? Oh yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Winter hits and I'm like a polar bear or a bear. I'd just rather be in a cave hiding. Like I don't like it.
Absolutely. Just hibernate, play some video games, cast some video games, anything inside with the heat going, maybe get a little get that graphics card, nice and hot, warming up, space heat in the room. Certainly. So, I'm glad we're able to find this. I know we had some bitter cold here in Oklahoma this week. It's been a bad deal.
Been very interesting to say the least about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You talking about graphics cards? I'm still running an older graphics card, so my graphics card doesn't get that hot because it can't do very much anyways.
Yeah, it's well, hopefully, we'll see those new RTX 30 series come back around in stock. Maybe one of these days we'll be able to get our hands on them and get going. So as we wait for Atoga to pick this map, what's your takeaway so far? We've had one complete match earlier with Havoc Ember, and we're 2/3 of the way through our match, our second match tonight.
So far from what I've seen is incredible play from every team. Last, of course, I'm coaching the Shadowcats, so I always tend to lean towards the team. I want to root for my team. But it's anybody's game right now. It makes me excited to see. It's a long ways away, but it's looming back there, and I know it's coming. The finals for Oath League at the end of spring, because if all the teams keep developing, keep growing like we seen them do in the fall, there's no telling what'll happen come the finals and which team will come out on top and what level of play we'll really be watching by that time. So it's exciting, makes me kind of giddy. That's what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Blizzard World, one we don't get to see too often. A hybrid map going back to that, attack the point and then push the cart. So that'll be a great map to see as we wait for the teams to ready up. But yeah, speaking, watching the players develop and get ready. Again, if you're watching and you're interested in competitive esports, certainly if you're playing Overwatch, look us up, oathleague.com, get involved. We have teams ready to go. We can get you on a team and get you in this season onto a team and competitively playing Overwatch with new teammates, with all of us, get some coaching. We'll have our new stats website rolled out. You'll be able to have almost a resume for your competitive Overwatch ability, which is awesome. It's outstanding to take with you and have some tangible data points for your playing as we go now into Blizzard World. A hybrid map, a ton of different angles, some choke points, some high ground, lots of off angles. I expect to see Asian Andy lurking in the shadows, running that DPS. And looking at the comps, fairly similar to what we've seen, but if it's fairly similar to what we've seen, we're gonna go the distance on Blizzard World.
I'm blown away right now. It's been a week since we've been in the dojo, but I don't think I've seen Asian Andy throw one arrow on Hanzo this game, or any of these games for that matter. It's
Man, he may
very
have
strange.
been doing some of that independent study, and I think he's gonna end up with an A+ in that class if if anybody else has anything to say about it. Finding an incredible amount of value for his team, certainly on the Reaper, and Hole, clicking heads, doing a great job. Both these teams so strong on their comps they've rolled out with, and even some of their off picks. They've done some situational picks. As Dabin now opting for the McCree, maybe to go heads up duel with Hole to decide who's the best Western cowboy.
And I like seeing the Cyrus, the Diva pick. It's weird to see it in some comps, but like a good Diva player can, like, just right there, eats that Fire Strike. There was a whole lot of ult charge that Markmus could have gained, but thanks to eating it by Cyrus, it can't be done.
Absolutely, and this team fight now gonna go into this tiny little area here off to the left. Bob Soup finding two, Cyrus finding two, after I believe he was demeched, and he's quickly back in there.
Yes,
As Asian Andy says, no thank you. I watched what you guys did to my teammates. I'll just leave, thanks. And Croutons, you know, a nice strong defense over there, and kind of a weird place to take a team fight in that extremely cramped area. You know, certainly it's hard to keep track of everybody in those very small, narrow passageways up there on that kind of left high ground if you're the defense.
Yeah, and I get lost in that building, to be entirely honest. The carts push me around, and I get lost in there sometimes.
And Shadowcat gonna try again. Gonna go for the little roller coaster V2 move, but we see Asian Andy finding Bob Soup. That's a good pick. If you can drop that main tank shield.
Asian Andy chasing down Cyrus.
Gonna find there, so it works. You know, second time around.
Dabbing in the back like
well.
it's Lord North.
Oh, Hole finding two. A very good quick Deadeye there to pick up Imaram and Squid. As Finn falls now, Shadowcats look to take this as first point ticks through onto the second, and we see Bob Soup maybe gonna try. Nope, thought better of it. And now we see the second portion of these hybrid maps as the Shadowcats take that first capture point, point A. As the doors open up, the cart comes out, and now we're into the escort portion.
Ooh, Markimus blocks Bob Soup's hammer.
Yep. Markimus, a good read there and a great predictive sleep. Finn, unfortunately, doesn't have the follow-up. As the cart's going to be pushed through this high ground. Dabbin
Yep, the 3K. He gets a
3K, gives up his life, but I think that's enough of an opening. Certainly, if you can eliminate half the team with a Q, your team's going to do it, as Athena lets us know. A team kill. And big thanks to Dabbin with that flanking McCree ult there, as the Croutons now looking to set back up.
Now we see 4 ultis almost, with Finn about to have the nano. But so we're about to see 4 and 4. I wonder if we'll see a nano visor come from Imaram.
Yeah, hoping to see that as the window now comes out right on top of the cart in the face of that choke. So Bob Soup finding 2 with a big fire strike again, adding more, you know, to that next highlight reel of his that we need to do one. You know, doing a great job. Croutons now extending a little bit more, pushing back the Shadowcats after finding those first eliminations and forcing the big reset. But again, the 5th ult now coming online for Shadowcats. They'll have a ton of utility coming forward to try to break this first hold here by the Croutons.
I like that Squid used window and it allowed for the team to make something happen.
Oh, and then the shatter followed up by the nuke. Cyrus is going to find 2 on the back of that Bob Soup shatter. Dabbin finds 1. Imaram now finding 2 with the visor. Another team kill. Back-to-back team fights, back-to-back team kills for the Croutons. Weathering the storm, but, you know, you lose a team fight, but still we see 4 ults online there for the Shadowcats with the Croutons. They have the nano, they'll have the Dabbin being able to zone there with that McCree Deadeye. But it's you're asking a lot from your team to stay alive against 4 ultimates.
Yeah, there's lots of ultimates coming their way out there, but I like the Shadowcats have 5 ready to go right now.
Oh, and it looked like Barkamus was stunned out, counterpin maybe out of his ulti, but again, Asian Andy in the off angle, in the back line, just murdering down the health pools of the Croutons that were still alive. As now the Shadowcats have broken that with 4 ults still online, and they're going to push this cart towards this first checkpoint.
And it looks like Finn and Dabbin are getting ready to try to get kind of sneaky, and we see the sleep on Asian Andy, but he gets out. Gonna go try to harass Squid a little bit.
And Dabbin finding Hole. Finn going to invest the nano here onto Dabbin. Dabbin's going to find 2, going to find a 3rd again.
4.
Outstanding. Dabbin just finding all of the eliminations that he needs. Almost playing that McCree like his Tracer. Kind of rolling in from the, you know, a flank angle. Rolling into that Deadeye, finding some, and then following it up with left clicks. And in time to roll, to reload, and find 2 more. Outstanding job by Dabbin, as he's getting a little low on HP. That's the second time
that Dabbin has came in, used Q, and ended up with 4 kills from it.
Again, Bob Soup so quick to use those shatters, just building them as fast as possible. Finds a fire strike onto Blorg North and H Cobra, but look at here, Asian Andy, the off angle, pushing the cart. Oh, he gets found out. But still, free progress. Asian Andy, you know, you reset with 40 seconds left. Okay, but if that's where the card ends, that's huge value.
Yeah, you're almost at the end of point 2. You get a little extra time if you can get it the rest of the way. Big play there.
Yeah, certainly lots of reward for being a little daring to push out by himself. But again, Shadowcats still sitting on 4 ultimates, just haven't found the right time, maybe the right feeling when to use it. Is Cyrus looking to open up again with one of those cheeky early Diva bombs. And a great sleep by Finn to slow the push there on H-Cobra.
5 seconds to get a touch. Shadowcats have got to get there and get a touch. Looks like Markimus makes it to get the touch.
Markimus going to get there. Dabbing again.
Dabbing with 3.
The 3 Deadeye. It's the Dabbing show today. Finds 4. Imaram. 2 with the visor. And overtime's going to do it. So the Dabbing Imaram, outstanding Dabbing on the McCree. Haven't seen that a ton, proving us wrong. He is not a Genji one trick, certainly tonight. But great job by the Crewtons holding that line, and credit to the Shadowcats, making that push. It's unfortunate ending that team fight with 4 ults on the line. You kind of hate to see it, dying and being eliminated with some utility in the bank. But looking here, good stats from both teams. Imaram and Dabbin, 6k damage apiece, looking very strong. 23 limbs for Dabbin, certainly seen him there up on the kill feed. 24 for Cyrus though, doing an outstanding job getting around on the Diva, and using that defense matrix like you had seen earlier, Brock.
Yeah, and you love to see those big damage numbers. We've said it a lot. I like to see Reinhardt swing his hammer. So just the idea of that Bob Soup sitting at 5k right there, that's good numbers. A lot of people play him just shield up, but you gotta swing that hammer, man. Get some damage in with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at Bob Soup with 3 ults used. H Cobra 2 grabs in, but Bob being so aggressive on that Reinhardt. An aggressive Reinhardt can make or break that attack and that defense for your team. And being able to play well behind an aggressive Rein makes a huge difference. I know for me, being able to get behind that Rein that swings his hammer makes it so easy to play behind and support.
Yeah. I like the idea of an aggressive Reinhardt. He's not really a dive hero, but if you play him a little bit like one, it seems to be helpful to your team.
Certainly. We're going to see Crewtons look to be a little cheeky here. Asian Andy now on the Soldier, going to find that out. Is there going to be a bunch of spam damage down in there? As they're find out, they're going to do some long range poke now. Is the Diva going to look to get him behind, and Cyrus now going to force the rotation with some great movement off the point. Bob Soup, the diving Reinhardt.
Hole gets a dab, and Blorgnarth gets Bob Soup.
Yeah, so a strong first hold from the Shadowcats, rotating extremely well. Holding this first point as Cyrus and Imaram try their best to hang on, but it's going to be a reset now for the Crewtons.
Really good hold there by the Shadowcats. They were very... Hole was kind of staying back. I think he was expecting Dabman to try to come up behind them because he stunned him and picked him off before he could cause any mayhem.
And Asian Andy already online with that Soldier visor. Certainly you have to respect it when he's sitting on the high ground and you got to try to run past him and not be hit by that aimbot, hoping it doesn't pick you as its lucky victim.
Yeah. The aimbot seems to be a problem with him.
Absolutely, and Finn finding a strong nade up there onto that high ground, splashing it down again, finding 2, but that Zarya bubble, H-Cobra doing a great job keeping his team topped off. Davin gonna find subpar, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. As the Shadowcats gonna find and clean up those eliminations.
Another really good hold by the Shadowcats. Looks like Markimus and Blorgnarth need to get a little HP in, coming in at a disadvantage for this next team fight.
I'm gonna go again as we near a minute and a half left for the Crewtons to try to take this point. Trying to find that weak spot to get in and get in the faces. The Crewtons kind of split now around this mid statue, as we're gonna see the visor come out from Asian Andy. He's gonna back up. Finn finding a strong nade, anti-nade on that top high ground, but Markimus finding Dabin, and again the Shadowcats just rotating so well from that high ground, rotating to that low ground, taking the fight to the point and catching eliminations on the way. And Cyrus trying his best to delay there with the bomb as we get near a minute left for the Crewtons to try to take this point.
You know, and you keep talking about their rotations. I'm sure their comms are going crazy right now, as they should be.
And Hole finding the headshot there on Baby Diva after Cyrus being demeched. And here we see 4 ults online, almost a 5th ult now. Hole getting very close to that Deadeye, a strong ult to zone through that choke. Not a lot of utility. You know, we see the Nano is subpar, going to invest early with the window, and Hole gonna zone with that McCree Deadeye.
Finn and Davin with the ulti.
Gonna try Davin. You know, it's so hard to shoot up at that high ground if you're down low. Davin gonna find H Cobra though. Cyrus falling to Asian Andy. Oh no!
It's a 2-man shatter.
The 2-man shatter followed up by the purple with the window and the Nano now onto Markimus. Finding the swings. Crewtons gonna come up a little bit short, I think, here as Squid tries his best to use his boots.
Uh-oh, we see Cyrus coming in on the back line.
Yeah,
Gets
we're gonna see
purpled.
the stall tactics. Oh, and the grab gonna come in to put a stop to that. As the stall tactics come in, Imaram gonna try his best to do
I
it,
don't know
but
that Davin can get back.
I don't know that they're gonna get there. Man. And the Shadowcats, a strong defense from the high ground, and their rotation so clean, doing an outstanding job, falling back off the high ground exactly when they needed to.
I wonder which 4K this is, because he got like 3 of them.
Yeah, this is his flanky on defense, and a
3.
very good one. The flash, the right click.
And
Yeah, you know, a great job to take that off angle, you know, as that cart goes around the corner. 9 Deadeye kills.
Ooh.
Great, but Shadowcats gonna take it 2-1. A great job on that final defense. You know, outstanding all around.
Yeah, really good team play. I was a little worried after watching the Junkertown, and just how well the Croutons pushed into the Shadowcats on Junkertown. I was very like, oh man, this could be crazy. But Shadowcats really pulled it out and decided to. I assume that their comms had to be going crazy just with the call outs, because we saw Croutons trying to be kind of cheeky and get the little sneak in, and didn't quite work out. So I think that both teams just played phenomenal games of Overwatch today.
Yeah, you said it. You know, outstanding. You know, back and forth, an incredible display from both the Croutons and the Shadowcats. The Shadowcats there at the end just rotating so cleanly and doing exactly what they needed to do. The Croutons just not able to find that little bit of weakness, just find that edge that they needed to push them and get that cart going. So credit to the Shadowcats. You know, an outstanding defense after a good attack, but certainly one that left them open to being pushed and being attacked. That map certainly, again, like we said all night, could have gone either way.
Yeah.
You know, both games tonight, outstanding. You know, Havoc and Ember back and forth both times. Both teams played absolutely outstanding. And again, on the second map, the Croutons and the Shadowcats. That was about as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's what you hope for, is getting to see just all the way to 3 maps every time, just because it's more Overwatch. It's more fun. You get to experience it more. And like I said, it makes me giddy to see what's coming in the next couple of weeks, you know, with all these games coming up.
Absolutely. So with that, that's the end of our game again. Thanks you to all our new follows, all our new subs that have joined us here at Oath League. It's been outstanding having you guys with us, being in chat, supporting the players, hopefully supporting production staff. You know, we got Mr. Epi himself in the background running everything, doing an outstanding job helping us stay on track, stay almost on time. You know, if you're on time, you're not having a good time, I don't think. If you're not running a little long, I don't really know that everyone's getting the value that they signed up for. So again, shout out to everybody for stopping by the stream, watching some competitive Overwatch, supporting all the players, the parents, letting the kids stay up a little bit later, maybe past their bedtime to get us, you know, let us cast for them. All the coaches, again, thank you so much for the hard work you guys put in day out. I don't think I have anything else. Mr. Brock, you have anything to add?
No, just thanks you to everybody that was watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I sure did. And make sure that you tune in next Thursday for more Oath League Overwatch.
Absolutely, yeah. So once again, I'm Kaylor. That was Brock. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into Oath League for this first week. We hope to see you guys back next week for the next round of games and some more teams on the table as we come back next week for week 2 of the Oath League.